Well, this, albeit totally anecdotal argument, comes from a very personal place. In fact, it comes from my own experiences wallowing in what I imagine to be the endless sorrow of life and imagining my own ideas of death. That is to say, they come from my experiences with severe mental illness. Well, because I believe that my experiences with suicidal depression and my experiences with Dark Souls resonate with each other in some pretty odd ways.
Time where I was super depressed and I didn't have any direction, and all my friends that I had were in college and I was barely making any money, and as kind of stupid as it sounds, it made me feel like I had some sense of purpose of the second that I got sucked into the game. After I realized the map looped back to Firelink Shrine, I like knew that I had to beat the game. Like, I knew that I had to see it through, and not just because it was like, oh, it's fun, or it's an escape, which it was both of those things too. It was very satisfying to beat the bosses, but it was like, it was like my divine... It was like my divine destiny to beat the game. Like, it was just something I knew I had to do. And
people don't become hollow when they die. People become hollow when they give up. The internet and YouTube is full of people talking about how Dark Souls helped them with their depression. But why? What does Dark Souls do to our brains that helps us with depression? And what exactly is depression in the first place? I'm sure everyone has felt it one way or another, but just having a bad day isn't depression as many might think. As it is defined under the DSM, the manual to categorize mental illnesses, depression is a mood disorder that affects how you feel, think, and handle daily activities. It is also lasting longer than just having a few rough days, because depression sticks around for weeks, months, or even your entire life. And it doesn't just make you feel sad, but seeps into everything you do. From an emotional perspective, it is a constant feeling of emptiness. Things that used to bring you joy or happiness don't feel the same or don't affect you at all. You just stop feeling any pleasure no matter what you do. Cognitively, depression disrupts you from thinking clearly, making concentration challenging, any decision-making feeling overwhelming, and your memories become hazy. With persistent negative thoughts, like guilt or worthlessness, often accompanying these struggles. And in more severe cases, thoughts of death or suicide may also creep up. And furthermore, depression also manifests physically. Sleep patterns can drastically shift, with you either experiencing insomnia or sleeping excessively for +9 hours. Appetite can also fluctuate, leading to weight gain or loss, whilst your energy decreases, resulting in fatigue, restlessness, and even unexplained physical aches or pains. As for what causes depression, well, everyone has their own unique experiences with it. But it is usually a chain of setbacks or fucked up experiences piling up that slowly pulls you down. It is basically like going hollow in Dark Souls, just giving up on everything, doing nothing, and feeling like you're slowly wasting away, waiting for the end to come. Yet, when suffering from depression, even severe ones, why is it that Dark Souls has a positive influence on you? The answer to this question lies in how the game is designed, because it incorporates psychological concepts that are used in behavioral therapy to cure depression. As you know, Dark Souls is notoriously difficult, with its core design built around trial and error as well as perseverance. Each time you overcome a tough enemy or boss, it can create a strong sense of accomplishment and mastery. This design taps into something called self-efficacy, the belief in one's ability to succeed in specific situations or accomplish tasks. It is a key factor in how people approach challenges and goals, which was introduced by the psychologist Albert Bandura in 1977. If you are suffering from depression, then your self-efficacy level is extremely low, leading you to believe that nothing you ever do will be successful. Because with depression, feelings of helplessness and a lack of control constantly plague you, clouding your mind and putting you at war with yourself. In Dark Souls, you constantly face challenging situations, always a bit above your current skill level. By successfully overcoming these challenges, this builds up a sense of self-worth. In context of self-efficacy, these are called mastery experiences, which are the most useful method to increase your belief in your own abilities. Pep talks, role models, and supportive people are other ways to improve them. However, when compared to mastery experiences, those alternatives do shit. That is because mastery experiences have the huge advantage of you yourself being able to see and feel how you achieved something you previously thought to be impossible. Instead of a friend helping you to defeat a boss, it is far more effective if you defeat it on your own. That way, you prove to yourself that it was your skills alone that allowed you to overcome this challenging boss. In order for mastery experiences to be effective in that regard, it is necessary that a challenge is above your current skill level, as otherwise you would dismiss this achievement as luck or an expected outcome. It is also crucial to have repeated mastery experiences so your successes don't feel like a mere fluke, which is why you feel a lasting sense of accomplishment after completing Dark Souls rather than just defeating the first few bosses. And Dark Souls design, wanting you to overcome challenging bosses and have mastery experiences over and over, is why it has this effect on you and not other games. You see, games are designed for you to win eventually, either by lowering the difficulty or giving you OP items as a crutch to use. The same is also true for Dark Souls, in that it is designed for you to eventually beat. But instead, like other games, Dark Souls doesn't hold your hand, remains apathetic towards your every move, and doesn't care if you progress, quit, rage, cry, or experience all of these combined. You either overcome the challenge and move on to the next one, or you don't. That is all that matters. As such, the game allows for a safe environment to level up your self-efficacy without having to suffer from any IRL consequences. Because as you progress and defeat increasingly difficult enemies, your belief in your ability to succeed grows due to the repeated mastery experiences, leading to greater confidence in your abilities and persistence in the face of difficulties. To put it plainly, if you manage to defeat Unseen and Smoke, then your self-efficacy increases significantly, because fighting two enemies at once is no easy feat. As such, engaging and succeeding in Dark Souls' core gameplay loop, conquering increasingly difficult bosses, counters feelings of helplessness caused by depression, reinforcing a sense of agency and belief in one's own abilities. However, facing and overcoming the bosses isn't the only factor at play here. Because if you one-shot a boss on your first try, then you wouldn't gain any self-efficacy. This is where the game's punishing nature comes into play. A core theme of Dark Souls is to encourage you to keep going despite repeated failures. It mirrors IRL situations like getting a job, finding a girlfriend, obtaining a college degree, or winning a competition, where perseverance, despite setbacks, can lead to eventual success. Without this difficulty curve, presenting a challenge just slightly above what you're capable of, growing proportionally with you as you play Dark Souls, you wouldn't gain any self-efficacy. As a perfect proof, Just take any game as an example, where you mow down every boss in 1 or 2 tries. You feel indifferent towards any of them because your brain dismisses them in an instant, thinking that they were no match for your already existing self-efficacy level. As a result, gritting through Dark Souls hardships fosters the necessary resilience and the ability to persist through difficulties, reinforcing the idea in your mind that setbacks are part of growth and you will eventually be victorious. This is why the phrase "get good" is so relevant in this community. It is our way of encouraging one another to push through and finish the game, no matter how difficult or impossible it might seem. Because we have experienced firsthand how much it helped us, and we want others to feel the same way as well. But this framework of the game's design, of being resilient in the face of challenges and overcoming them to improve self-efficacy, wouldn't work at all if our brain wouldn't respond to its success. Because your brain would ask you questions such as, why defeat a boss? Why struggle through the game? Is there anything at all in it for you? This is the last necessary component to improve self-efficacy, a reward at the end of our struggles. If we defeat a boss, Dark Souls rewards us with progress to the next area, valuable souls, and the occasional item. Psychologically, these small achievements tap into our dopamine reward system. The dopamine reward system is a neurobiological process where dopamine, a neurotransmitter, is released in response to rewarding stimuli, reinforcing behaviors that are pleasurable or essential for survival, making dopamine the primary factor influencing motivation, learning, and reinforcement of behaviors. Hence, when you accomplish something meaningful or experience pleasure, dopamine is released in your brain, leading to feelings of satisfaction and motivating you to repeat these behaviors to relive this satisfying feeling. In Dark Souls, overcoming challenges in form of bosses or Blighttown releases dopamine, which encourages you to persist through its tough gameplay all the way to the end. As a result, defeating any boss triggers small dopamine releases, which is your brain giving you a pat on the shoulder and asking you to do that again because it feels good. This is why dopamine is the final key component needed to complete the cycle of building up your self-efficacy. It acts as the motivating factor behind improving your skills, driving you to get better as your brain seeks increasingly rewarding outcomes with each step of progress. And as soon as your self-efficacy gets to a high enough level, the feelings of hopelessness caused by depression aren't as strong anymore, since another powerful force is countering them. However, this is not a magic cure for depression. Instead, it is a healthy step towards dealing with your problems and realizing you are capable of solving them. And this growth in self-efficacy often extends to other areas in your life, as demonstrated by Mimi Bong's research on the generalizability of academic self-efficacy. Meaning that the high self-efficacy level you got from playing Dark Souls makes you believe that with enough effort, you too will be successful in whatever it is you are currently dealing with. Hence, the biggest reason as to why Dark Souls helps people with depression is this self-efficacy cycle in its gameplay loop. It's the secret behind why many report that Dark Souls helps them with overcoming their struggles in life and get out of depression. However, there's also another factor at play here independently of it. Depression can make you feel overwhelmed or disconnected from your life. You are wandering through the day, asking yourself what you are doing anything for, or why bother engaging with anyone. You are all going to die eventually, and after your death, anything you did was meaningless. Engaging in a fake positive world is a waste of time. In contrast to how you perceive the world differently from others, while you suffer from depression, Dark Souls offers you a place that isn't all sunshine and rainbow, but more of a world reflecting your reality. A world you can resonate with, as this is what it feels like for you to exist in that state. You are inconsequential and your actions have no meaning in the grand scheme of the world, which makes for a rich and immersive world you can relate to more in your depressive state that in turn allows for escapism. Escapism is a tendency to seek distraction and a relief from unpleasant realities, often through entertainment or imagination. When you are overwhelmed by negative emotions, like stress or depression, you turn to immersive activities, like games, to take a break from reality. And Dark Souls provides a highly engaging, immersive world where you can focus on in-game goals rather than your real-world problems. This temporary escape offers emotional relief by diverting attention from your depression, allowing you to recharge and figure out your mind in the back of your thoughts whilst being actively distracted by Dark Souls. The escapism to a world that doesn't repulse you, combined with its self-efficacy progress, sets, as such, the perfect environment for you to deal with your struggles, manifesting your inner feelings through an external form that offers a symbolic way to confront your struggles, meaning that defeating enemies in the game can serve as a metaphor for overcoming your personal demons, helping you process and deal with your own emotional pain in a safe, controlled environment. As such, Dark Souls offers a cathartic experience, a process of releasing and finding relief from your intense depressive emotions, serving as the final piece that explains its profound impact on you. The intense emotional highs and lows in Dark Souls, from frustrations at repeated failures to the exhilaration of finally defeating a tough boss, provides an outlet for pent-up emotions. This emotional release can be therapeutic, helping to process negative feelings that you have carried around for a long time. As a result, the game's world design reflects depression in a tangible form, creating an escape for you, seeking a world that mirrors your inner feelings. This environment not only provides a space to process your depressive emotions, but also encourages you to overcome them through a cycle that builds up your self-efficacy. That is why some say that Dark Souls' world mirrors what it feels like to have depression. However, I disagree with this, since Dark Souls is far more tame than actual depression. Because depression looks like this.
But what does it change? Nothing you do will ever change anything. No matter what you do, you're stagnating, and the struggle will never end. It's not just an episode. It always was and always will be the same. It's inescapable. You're trapped in an endless spiral that goes further and further down, so deep that your own thoughts lead you to the deepest and darkest places. That will change you. You will always reach a point of wanting to give up. I continue anyway. There's nothing to look forward to. There's no reward for your struggle at the end. It is all meaningless, as no one and nothing ever will care about it. Why continue to care for anything at all? Might as well end it all now and be done with it.
You don't look hollow, far from it.
Don't get yourself killed. Neither of us want to see you go hollow.
Goodbye then.
Be safe, friend. Don't you dare go hollow.